Hey, Jack. All right. You got this stuff?
Yeah, all cleaned and oiled.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Let's get it on.
Who are these guys?
It's my theme music. Every good hero should have some.
Live from Springfield, Missouri, the one, the only, Heat Green.
Excuse me, can I get a cup of coffee? Black? Can't you see we talking? White?
Oh, good morning, everyone. Wow, there's quite a few people in chat this morning. Of course, morning coffee regulars. Good morning, Penny, Anima, Storyman Jack, Admiral Teague, because Admiral Teague's cool like that. And hello to the two gentlemen that make all this possible, John and Martin. How are
Hello.
you guys?
Where's the
Doing
other
well.
gentleman? There's John, and there's me. I'm a gentleman.
The noble Martin.
How are you, man? Always so cad. How's everybody?
Oh, so first of all, I think this is my first time back since Thanksgiving. So, how was your turkey day, John?
Oh, it was good. Went my cousin's house, and we had turkey day over there up in St. Louis. And came back, and then Allie came over, and we had our Thanksgiving. So
That's cool. That is so cool. And it looks like I will get a chance to meet her this weekend at Geekmas.
Yep.
Wow. Okay, well, you know what, man? I will definitely be on my best behavior.
You're always in your best behavior.
Yeah.
Depends on who you ask. But no, I'm not going to embarrass you. If you were one of my kids, I'd think about it. We all know she's got good taste because she's dating the John man.
I didn't get anything that you said. I heard
You kind of roboted a bit, but I got it. You would if it was. You'd think about it if I was one of your kids embarrassing me, but you won't since it's me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep. So
it's good. It's good that I have John here to interpret for me.
Yeah. Well, I've taken her over to my sister's twice. So
wow.
She hasn't. My sister hasn't embarrassed me enough yet. So.
Well, that's what siblings are for.
Oh, I know.
You had to have at least expected that. I mean, she's going to take advantage of this.
She didn't pull out the baby picture, so that was a good stuff. That'll probably be next time.
No. Your sister's going to wait for the opportune moment to bring the baby pictures out. I'm not saying she won't put out some pictures of when you were younger, but that's for a very special occasion. So
yeah.
Your sister is smart like that. So
yeah, she is.
Oh, Martin. How have you been, my friend?
Oh, very busy, but happy at least,
Good.
which is more than many people can say.
More than most people who are still investing in Disney can say.
Oh,
Look, that's not a dagger. That's some hard up truth, but that's not a dagger. The one throwing daggers is John. He loves to throw those daggers, but no, I'm just giving you hard up truth that things are difficult right now for the Disney Corporation and for Bob Iger in particular.
Yep.
I just have to shake my head. I after hearing what the movie Wish was originally about, that's the movie I would have taken my grandkids to go see. That original story is phenomenal. The story that they actually came up with, I don't know. Hey, again, Anima. And Lady V is here.
yes. And Admiral Tig is here to. Admiral, be sure to check your blood pressure during the show.
Yeah.
Well, also Cam's crash courses. Because,
Cam's here?
Cool.
Yes, and Shanatsky. Oh, you know we gotta do that.
Do it. There you go. And that is done with love.
Because we love you, Shanatsky.
All kinds of love. Okay. Well, it seems like we have a list to get back to.
Yeah.
Again, let me go ahead and put a warning on this. It's a general warning for those of you whose name happens to be Admiral Teague. This is not done to cause any physical pain, any mental distress. Hell at you, Admiral Teague. But I thought it was important to have this. Okay, that destroyed your mind. We will tread carefully. But if you feel yourself slipping, Admiral Teague, make sure you reach out to the nearest geek or nerd closest to you that can render assistance and aid in a most immediate fashion. But oh man, I gotta say, this is a good list. There's some good shows on here, but I think it's a list of its time or of that moment. I think certain things on this list were placed on here to sort of court and or signal that Rolling Stone, had the right sort of valued the right sort of things at the right sort of time. So, because if you really did get some real geeks and nerds to sit around and actually go deep on this, I think this list would be slightly different. So,
Slightly.
And there's the dagger.
Oh, that's just a little flick there. That's not the full dagger. I've got those sharpened and warmed up. So
Yes, John. I know. You're reserving those for when it can do maximum amount of damage.
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Lady V. I'm sure John can translate.
Well, in all honesty, I think, but we have not exaggerated when it comes to things that should not be on the list and things that are in a wrong position in the list. But this is for the benefit of some of our audience. not all the list is bad. There are things that we agree wholeheartedly, and we are getting close to them. So it it this episode should be a little better than before, a little less angrier.
A little less angrier. Okay. Okay. Well, we've had time to deal with the fallout from the first half of the list. Would that be a better way of putting that?
Yeah,
You could say.
gave Admiral Teague time to find his marbles. Fortunately, he's going to lose them again.
Well, let me just give a short recap for those that may not have been here the last time we did this. Rolling Stone had a list of what they considered to be the 50 best sci-fi TV shows of all time. Yeah, well, and again, it's not that I hate the list or anything, but as I said at the top of the show, I mean, this list came out in 2020. I think it's saying a lot that this is the 50 best. You know, I think you can get away with saying that these are 50 shows that is a nice mix of some of the best that you could be watching at the moment, along with a few shows that you know, it doesn't hurt to at least turn on and at least attempt to enjoy in some
And a
capacity.
whole lot of crap that don't belong on here.
Now that's a dagger, everybody.
Yeah.
It-
By the way, where is
Zax
she?
is here.
Oh yeah, and here we go.
Hey, fuck you, Kyle.
Hello. Good morning to you. Anyway, to recap, we only did one half of the list. So number 50 is the British series from AMC called Humans. And number 49, the classic uh MTV animated series and Flux. Number 48, Red Dwarf, the original Red Dwarf. And number 47, Thunderbirds. And number 46, The 100. It's one of those shows I was can say, what?
Don't get me started with the 100. Don't.
Look, I got nothing against that show.
Oh, I do.
I watched the first 2 seasons of the show. It's not for me.
You're a stronger man than I am.
It's if the Hunger Games of Battlestar Galactica had a child that was mildly retarded.
Oh,
yeah. Mildly. Slightly more than lightly.
I was being polite.
Okay, look. There are fans of the 100. And we also have to acknowledge the fact that quite a few people who are fans of a lot of science fiction shows now, that was probably their first introduction to anything like that. And it was based on a series of YA novels by Cass Morgan that they adopted. But I will say this. It's one of the few CW shows that is the very definition of what makes the CW what it is. The 100 is a show that it could probably only exist on the CW.
Yep.
So,
Well, I need to say this.
okay.
As much as I loathe the show, it does not mean it's a personal attack about anyone who enjoys it. It doesn't. I don't have the high ground to say something like that. I mean, I love the whole saga of Sharknado, and I know it's bad, but I love it. What can I say?
Everybody has those shows that may not be the best, but for some reason it does something for you. So everybody's got their something, as the song says. So
Yeah. So if we in this show get to disparage some show that you like, please don't take it personally. It's not our intention. It's all in good fun.
yeah.
Yeah,
Now-
it's targeted at the show, not at you.
In my opinion, a lot of my stuff is really targeted at the producers and writers. I got nothing against any of the actors or the people that works on the show. You know,
Generally not. Yeah.
number 45, it was Now and Again, and my own personal thing about Now and Again is the big thing is it's from the Glenn Gordon Caron, who was a writer on one of the best shows of the 80s, Remington Steele, and then created his own show that he had a hit with called Moonlighting. And Now and Again was a good show, good cast. Not perfect, but it was a good show. Good show. Number 44, Max Headroom.
Way
Number 40. Oh, go ahead.
It's way too low in that list, Max Headroom.
Yes, I agree. Number 43, The Man in the High Castle.
Which is a travesty. It's this low.
It is. Number 42, Misfits. Number 41, The Oa.
Which I don't think belongs on here, but that's just my opinion.
Number 40, The $6 Million Man. Now, let me again repeat, this list is from 2020. This year is the 50th
That's the only reason She-Hulk is not in the list.
Yeah, I know. This year is the 50th anniversary of the $6 Million Man. If this list were being done this year, I think $6 Million Man would be higher up on the list. But I still don't think it would have cracked. I don't think they would have allowed it into the top 20. I'm not saying it deserves to be in the top 20. But there are certain shows on this list that I think $6 Million Man is slightly better than. You know? And it's, again, it was a really good adaptation for the time of a well-written book. Not the greatest book written in the world, but, you know, Martin Kanan's Cyborg. So, anyway, number 39, Futurama, which, okay, Futurama definitely needs to be higher on any list like this.
Yeah.
Because of the intelligence of the people. Look, Futurama is one of the few shows whose writers know how to balance comedy, slapstick, but also intelligent, well thought out science and science related and science fiction type of adding all of that stuff into the program. Some people have to Google stuff and then they throw it in there. The writers for this show, they know this stuff. It's, oh yeah. definitely should be higher. Let's see. Number 38, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which I did like.
Yeah, I did
And
too.
again, I will say this, based on everything that's happening right now and that has happened over the last few years, with the exception of the Netflix stuff, this is the best of Marvel television efforts. It is way better than the majority of what has been passed off as Marvel on Disney Plus.
Yeah, it's best. It's the best of Disney Marvel.
Okay, yes. Even though this was an ABC series.
ABC's owned by Disney, so
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, but it was a network series and not a Disney Plus series. And
right.
I think if you're one of those people that didn't watch it the first time around, this is one of those shows that it was very good at replicating the feeling of how everyone felt during phases 1 through 3. So it's a lot of good nostalgia. That's the reason why I say it's better than a majority of the Disney Plus stuff, because a lot of their Disney Plus offerings are a majority of them are post phase 3. And it's just collectively not that good. But this show, it's born of being a part of phase 2, coming out of phase 2, phase 1, really. It's still during that period when everything was kind of cool and fans were enjoying it. And all of us were just MCU fans. Some of us thought we would be for life. Yeah, that came and went quick. Anyway, that's number 38, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. from really Joss Whedon and his brother, Jed, and Jed's wife, Marina Ten Creighton. Really, the last two being the ones who were really running the show. All Joss did was basically help to come up with a basic understanding, and then Jed and Marina, they were the two that really led that show, and I think did a very good job from the first episode to really one of the best final episodes for any show like that. Yeah. Anyway, my opinion. I know not everybody shares that opinion. So, but then number 37, we have The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is the original BBC series. Love it because the majority of the people who did the original radio or audio version of the story were a part of it. I did not mind the movie. I'll tell you that much. I kind of liked the movie. Was it a perfect adaptation? No. But I love the fact that they did something that I think a lot of other films in that circumstance, they got pretty close, in my opinion. And they added a few bits of humor that were mainly based out of the writings of Douglas Adams. So instead of just nowadays people would create a brand new character or change a character radically to whatever to push into this story. What the filmmakers for Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and I think it was Disney that ended up, releasing it, they tried to keep everything as close to Douglas Adams as possible.
Nah.
And even included his family in the movie. They are in the movie. And in a, not a pivotal role, but they're not hidden. And so when you learn who they are and where they are, it's like, okay, that's pretty cool. Anyway, that's number 37. Number 36, Stargate, SG-1.
Should be much higher.
True. It should be much higher.
Definitely top 10.
Number 35, the original V, the 1983 to 85. Jessica Jones, which again, I'm still mystified. You know, out of all of the Netflix shows were very well done. And I know there are some people's like, oh, Iron Fist. Look, now that many of you out there have had a chance to see the MCU as done by Disney Plus, doesn't it lead you to believe that at least Iron Fist is better than the majority of that stuff? Okay, I'm just saying.
Yep. Although, why they put Jessica Jones on there instead of Daredevil, which is a much better series.
Yeah. Daredevil season 1 alone, not just for comic book series, but for a television series. That first season, just the hallway scene, that's classic TV.
Yep.
You know, if you're picking the top 20 best moments in all of television that changed, I think, television, that hallway scene from Daredevil on Netflix. Yeah. In fact, I'm gonna say something that might even give me some hate mail. I think the hallway scene in Daredevil is way better than the hall scene used for Darth Vader in Rogue One.
Okay, that's pushing things a little bit.
That is pushing, but I think it's better. It's a better scene. It's a way better scene because that actually means something within the story. It tells you something about that character. That scene in Rogue One is a terrifyingly cool scene, but it doesn't add anything to the story because at the moment when it happens, it means nothing since Vader's not a main character within the plot of that particular film. You know, all you're doing is that's a massive amount of really cool fan service. Ultimately, it's not a story thing. It's fan service.
Yeah.
Whereas the hallway scene in Daredevil, that's it's a story point, but it also says a lot about the character, Matt's character, and the kind of hero that he is. And that's not the same guy that we see doing the walk of shame in She-Hulk. I'm sorry.
Nope, it's not. I thought for a second you were going to go to Old Boy and say it was better than the corridor fight in Old Boy, and I'd have to stop you right there.
Now, I have to address this.
Okay.
Kings, there are no fans of JJ in this channel. We all loathe him.
That's true.
In fact, I think we would prefer She-Hulk to any of what JJ has done. In my opinion.
Yeah.
But yes. Oh,
Well,
man.
Kingsport, you got your answer from Martin, so I don't need to say anything except number 33, Life on Mars.
The British one, not the American.
Yeah, the original Life on Mars.
Well, I haven't seen Jessica Jones, and I think we all agree that it doesn't belong on this list. It's not sci-fi.
And then you have number 32, The Flash. More CW stuff.
Yep.
Again, First 3 seasons of The Flash, I'm all down for. It should definitely be on a list. The rest of it after that, no.
Yeah, it went downhill pretty quick after season 3.
Number 31, Space 1999, which in my opinion, personally, should be a little bit higher on this list. Space 1999 at least deserves to be in the top 20.
Top
If
25.
you're going to do sci-fi TV shows of all time, that should be in your top 20 somewhere. You know, because Space 1999 proved that you could actually have good sci-fi outside of just Star Trek. You know, and it was the last of that kind of science fiction prior to Star Wars coming out. Because once Star Wars came out, Star Wars changed everything. Everything. And it's not that easy to get any kind of science fiction show the way they used to make it once Star Wars came out. Because when you look at it, once Star Wars hit, what, you got Battlestar Galactica?
Yep.
And everything just changed after that. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. That's the way I think about it. It's different. Everything is really, really different. Anyway, let's see. Number 30, Quantum Leap. The original Quantum Leap, not Quantum Leap Phase 2, which is what I call the new one. And I'm not being disparaging. I kind of like the new Quantum Leap also. I wish they had called it Quantum Leap blah, 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 rather than just call it Quantum Leap. It gets kind of confusing since it is kind of meant to be a continuation in a way of the original series. So I do kind of like that. And it helps that I know somebody that works on the show. But hey, you know, we can move past that. So 29. Now, to me, this is one of the great tragedies of this list. Babylon 5 being at number 29 on this list.
It's top 5.
Easily top 5. That's a bunch of horse hockey to put Babylon 5.
That's a new one for me.
to have it so far out of the top 20. Wow. Yeah. That's insulting more than anything else. Number 28, the Quartermass Experiment, which again, now knowing what we now know about what Kevin Feige is going to do with Fantastic Four, maybe Kevin Feige ought to sit his butt down and watch the Quartermass Experiment.
Yeah,
get a better idea of how to use the Fantastic Four. Number 27, Dollhouse. Hey, look, it's another Joss Whedon production. Huh, funny.
Yeah.
Look, I get it.
I'm not sold on Dollhouse, but that's just me.
I'm just waiting for Shinotsky comment. I'm just waiting for
I'm
Shinotsky
not
to
saying
comment
that
on
the
that.
guy was all there, but the guy knew how to put together a writer's room, and he knew how to make shows that really seemed to entertain an audience. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah, sex bots without robots.
Wow. Number 26, Torchwood. One of the few modern Doctor Who spinoffs that was, I think I liked it. It wasn't a perfect show, but I will say this. You can have whatever thoughts you want about Torchwood, but let me tell you something. Torchwood Children of Earth is one of the best science fiction miniseries of the last 50 years. easily, easily, easily in the top 10, probably top 5. That, oh, wow. And when you find out what they're actually doing, that's one of those things on par with Jacob's Ladder or The Crying Game or any major film or television show with a huge twist. And again, don't Google or what it. To me, it's worth it to give your time over to watch Torchwood Children of Earth. Trust me, the effect is worth it. It's jaw dropping, and it will stay with you long after it's over. That's one of those things you just can't. That feeling that you have at the pit of your stomach after it's over, that does not go away very easily. So, number 25.
This is where we start with the new stuff.
Oh, okay. So we're ready to go on from here. So,
yep.
It's number 25 is where we're beginning this list. And it's Quartermass, American Quartermass, or as I like to call it. It's Fringe. And it's a J.J. Abrams related show. And again, great cast. John Noble, who I really love as an actor. This was a tour de force performance from him on this show. I think a lot of people first became aware of him in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
The Two Towers, I think, was the first one he was in. And he's very good in that. And so this is a fine television series and performance from him. And Anna Torv, wow.
Yeah.
Great actress. Great lead.
And it's done something that no other J.J. Abrams series has been able to do, and that's stick the landing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, look, there's a lot of there are a few mystery box stuff in there, but the difference was that they didn't let it overwhelm the story that they were trying to tell. This show is kind of, again, it's American Quartermass mixed with X-Files. And some of the scares of the first season and a good portion of the second season are just that. It's X-Files level with a lot of that stuff, especially in the pilot.
Yeah.
With everybody that worked. There was a visual effects company in Kansas City that helped to do a lot of those visual effects. And so I'm very proud of those guys with what they were able to accomplish on just that show. I have to say that I like it that this was one of the last. This is the last television series that Leonard Nimoy was a part of before he passed. And his scenes with John Noble are amazing. His scenes really with the entire cast.
Oh,
and again, this is one of those shows that when you find out what the story is and
sorry.
Oh, that's all right. And what these characters were actually doing, as far as John Noble's character and Leonard Nimoy's character. Wow. Good stuff, though. Good. It's a nice carrying of the torch of the type of storytelling that we became used to after the X-Files. And also a nice updating of the kind of storytelling that was originally kind of, that was kind of originated by Quartermass. And again, in my opinion, Kevin Feige needs to be calling the writers of this show and get them to write the script for Fantastic Four. This show can do it. It's a darker, twisted version, but they could do it. And they would be much better than whoever Kevin Feige's already hired now. So, anyway, that's number 25. What do you think, Martin?
I haven't seen Fringe.
Oh, you haven't?
No,
Oh, my goodness,
It-
dude.
it's on my list. Yes, it is, but it has no priority because I have always perceived it like a clone, or not a clone. Something more like too close to what the X Files was.
I could see
So,
that, but I could see. I
so
could see how you-
I'm not disparaging it. I'm just saying
yeah,
that
yeah.
instead of watching something very alike of something else that I have already seen, I give priority to different stuff.
Totally cool. I'm again. I tell people watch whatever you want to watch, but let me at least make this pitch. The reason why X-Files is something that a lot of people throw around is the type of storytelling that they had for this show is very X-Files like. A lot of what X-Files did was deal with a lot of the aliens and supernatural and other things. There is a portion that has been lost that Hollywood Hollywood created a type of science fiction that was kind of horror based, science gone wrong. It's what has given us things like Gojira and all that other stuff. Man with Two Brains and The Fly and stuff like that. And that's really what Fringe is. X-Files touched on some of it with episodes like Tombs. Now, what if in the X-Files you found out that a majority of these creatures you could contribute to experiments by a really dark, twisted version of Dr. Benton Quest? Or, any great mind. That's the lead character. Or in this case, that's the character. You're coming in, if your father was really one of the most brilliant people on the planet and was responsible for creating all these scientific experiments gone wrong, and you had no idea the extent to how far it went, and then you're having to team up with your father, and here's the twist: your father doesn't remember doing this. He remembers being accused of it. He remembers the trial. All the notes are in his handwriting, but he has no real memory of a majority of this stuff. And so that's your mystery going in. And oh, yeah, it's great. It's great stuff. Great stuff. But again, this is not for everybody. But Fringe is one of those shows that they should make it mandatory to watch at least around really any time of the year. I was going to say Halloween, but this show could be any time of the year, especially when you get into seasons 2, 3, 4. There's stuff that the MCU is doing right now that Fringe did way better on television. And this is one of the few things that Alex Kurtzman has ever been a part of that's actually good. So everybody knows that's high praise coming from me, especially if I'm using Kurtzman's name. But yeah, Kurtzman and his ex-partner both created this series with J.J. Abrams, And really, they all were really overseeing at least the first year of the show. And then everything beyond the first season is for the other two people that were named as executive producers who actually took over the actual operation of the show. So, anyway, Fringe is good. Fringe is good.
Yeah.
It definitely gets a thumb up or 3 from me. So, how about you, John?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's like I said, it's the only JJ series to stick the landing. So
There you go. Number 24 is Winona Earp.
which doesn't have even belong remotely on this list.
I know. Oh, hello, Kyle. Does it have space cats? No, there are no space cats. But I will say this. It isn't so much the space cats. It's a plot device that they've been using for quite a while in the MCU that this show does way, way better. Alternate universes. They do it way better than the MCU. Just saying. And if you don't believe me, check the show out. Just watch it. Anyway.
Well, I'm gonna have to bail. They're here to install
you go
fiber.
Do what you need to do. Yeah.
So I'm upgrading from Spectrum to fiber, so I got 1 gig both directions. So I will see you guys in the morning for my game day. We're doing Baldur's Gate 3. So you all have a good afternoon. Enjoy the rest of this list and try not to pull out your hair.
Have a good one, John.
All right, bye.
Okay.
Let's see.
So, I got a question.
Yes.
Because I like to be precise, and when I say something does not belong in the list, I like to say why I think that. There are many reasons. Well, basically two. First, it's not the genre, or two, it may be the genre, but it sucks. So, in this case, I haven't seen Winona Earp, but for the synopsis, what I get is this is a supernatural fantasy show.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right?
Yes.
So
yeah, it's very much like Buffy. It's very much if you took Buffy and combined it with Supernatural, and then it's meant to be that. It's not science fiction at all. So
okay. Regardless of the quality, it's not science fiction. I wanted to confirm that.
Yeah.
So we can leave that behind and jump to number 23.
Which is Star Trek, The Next Generation, which, again, it is really difficult to create a sequel television series to a hit series. Okay? Again, just it is not easy to do that. But they did it with this. And it has been well documented, a lot of the stuff that went on behind the scenes. The documentary called Chaos in the Bridge, I will highly recommend if you've never seen that. But about how The Next Generation got made and the hoops that everybody had to jump through in order to get it successfully made. From the point of view of Gene Roddenberry and the man who was managing Roddenberry's career at that time, which if you've seen the documentary, a lot of the difficulties that people had. You had somebody involved that, in my opinion, wasn't really the best person to be involved with Star Trek, and I think made things difficult for really everything at that time. But Star Trek: The Next Generation, definitely a fantastic spin-off series, and has earned every accolade that has been thrown its way, and in recent years, I think has at least found a way of adding to that with Picard season 3. Not a fan of anything else that they've done recently, but Picard season 3 is a fun way to add a nice coda onto all of that. So, and here we are at the top of the hour before we get to number 22. So sit back, relax. Please like, share, and subscribe this particular program. And while you're looking at doing that, we have something for you to enjoy. Roll it, Martin. And it's not like we're offering stuff all the time, but this is your opportunity to wear some Pop Culture Minefield gear with my face on it. And I guarantee we meet up at any event, I will be happy to sign your shirt. Anyway, hopefully we can. Oh,
I
yes.
do want to talk about something.
Yes. We are going to talk about Vindicated. Now, for those of you who have been paying attention offline, or should I say online, Gary Cassell, the fine artist that he is, and Comic Book Pro, he's got this really cool GoFundMe that you should really be checking out. Vindicated Incorporated. And look, I can't rave enough about the work, the story, and the way Gary's mind works. If you're someone that's been pretty critical of or disappointed by how comics are now, get this. Get this. If you're someone that wants to see a different kind of comic with a different set of characters, get this. I know that a lot of people have been making a lot of content, lots of GoFundMes, different things to try to give money to, but I'm telling you, it'll be worth it to put money towards this. Mainly because I don't think there's enough of Gary Cassell's work out there. And I think that...
look that cover, man.
Oh, jeez. I got a chance to see that cover. I went to go visit Gary and got a chance to see that in person. That's just freaking amazing. I'm telling you. One of the things that makes doing this so cool is meeting the people that are fans of Gary's work and just love his storytelling. It's hard not to be a fan of this stuff, any of it. And so, please, if you want to support something that is original and fun and unique, and it's definitely not like a lot of the stuff that we've been having to endure with comic books over the last couple of years, Vindicated Incorporated crowdfunding campaign is definitely worth your time. Okay, so we have links to the actual page, which details, first of all, how much it's going to cost to to be a part of all of this and what you could get in return for investing in this. I just think that it's one of the best ways to keep this art form, which is American comic books, going, because as it stands right now, the current people who seem to be in charge of it aren't doing a very good job. So if this art form is to survive, we need to be supporting the people that are doing their darndest to make sure we're all entertained. And it's worth your time. Martin?
Say?
Got anything else to add to that?
No, man. I think we should do a show just to talk about Vindicated.
You know what? We should.
If possible, with Mike Baron, he is going to write the intro, or the preface for the book, because we need to show what the story is about, more of the sample art, and talk about the different tiers that and the perks that comes with each tier.
Yep.
If you want to contribute, I mean, I have to talk with the boss. We need that show. I think it's going to be a very, very fun show. But yes,
I agree.
I've had the privilege to watch to read a good portion of the work, and man, even my wife is stoked.
It's hard not to be excited with this. This is great stuff. It's even better if it's somebody that you know that's doing it. So, and we know Gary. Think the world of Gary and his talent. So, yeah. This should make a great Christmas present. Well, I don't know if we can get it out by Christmas. It's a great present for anyone that you know that is a fan of comics, especially if they're a veteran. And I just think that there's not enough work like this out there. So anyway, that's the Vindicated Incorporated crowdfund campaign, which is a mouthful. But yeah, just for more information, just click on the link that we have and do the thing. So
you think that is a mouthful? Just consider that in Spanish, every word is in average 30% longer than English. So
I feel for you, buddy. I do. And Anima, you're right. We should definitely. I think Martin's idea of doing a show on Vindicated would really work out. I think that'd be kind of fun. Well, back to the list. We're at number 22 with Lost.
That is Lost.
Again, that's a show
that show is Lost because this is not the list for it.
Yes, it is a very weird thing to put on this list.
Yeah,
it's a distraction more than anything else. It's like they had a hard time trying to come up with 50 science fiction shows. So
again,
that or they. Oh, go ahead.
It's again supernatural fantasy.
Yeah.
There's people apparently tends to mix fantasy with science fiction.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the same.
No.
Hell, even Star Wars isn't science fiction. It's fantasy. It's sci-fantasy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, you know, it's that whole, well, it's got space and robots in it. Must be science fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's okay. We'll skip to the next one.
Oh boy.
The groundbreaking anime series Astro Boy. You know what? I grew up with Astro Boy, watching the reruns. And I got to tell you, there is no show like that. That is a really, really cool show. The movie that they did came out about 12 years ago now, give or take. There's an animated update. Is good for what it is, but it's nothing like the original Astro Boy, which is, in my opinion, a lot of the original anime was all stuff that was their version of the work that Walt Disney was doing. And Astro Boy really is a science fiction update of Pinocchio, in a way.
Mm.
In a way. But it's still fun. It's a lot of fun to watch. Good show to get into. Anyway, that's 21. Number 20. Now, again, I agree that this show definitely deserves to be in the top 20. But let me just say this.
Oh no. Top 20?
No.
Top
What I'm
5.
saying is, yeah, if you're going to put it in there, you got to be honest about where it would be. And for me, this show deserves to be in the top 5. This show is all of you fans of Star Trek need to understand something, that the new Star Trek fans, the people that are working on Star Trek Discovery and Star Trek Strange New Worlds, this is what they're trying to do. Thing is, somebody already did it and did it better. It's called The Expanse.
Oh yeah.
Better characters, better storylines,
Better science.
effects, better science. I've seen videos on YouTube where scientists try to break down The Expanse, and they are amazed at how much The Expanse gets right.
And just the way they treat the physics alone.
Yes.
That was what got me, really. You remember when, and I think it's the first or second episode, when the Martian ship is under attack and they're running to what the to what well to the Rocinante. It
Yeah.
wasn't calling like that yet, but they were running to them, and they used uh, inertia and lack of gravity to navigate between the firefight. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome. This is everything that Disney, that the MCU, that everybody, all of the activists, film and TV people have wanted to accomplish, especially with Star Trek, the Star Trek people that are currently in charge of it. This is the show that they are mimicking and not doing a very good job of doing that, because The Expanse did it better. There is really, there's no way you can say that Star Trek Discovery or Strange New Worlds are as good as. The Expanse is so far superior above those shows that it's not even funny. It's not even close. And to have a character on Strange New Worlds that looks like they walked right out of The Expanse, I mean, that's my other thing against the current Star Trek people behind the scenes. They have no idea what an original idea is. And yeah, the Expanse, just worth your time in terms of adapting those original books, seeing all these characters and experiencing things, real emotions, great characterizations, great motivation. They actually thought that when the Sci-Fi Channel canceled The Expanse, the word that I heard was that the reason why season 1 of Picard was the way that it was, as far as a lot of the stuff related to the ship that Picard is on and that crew, is because they honestly thought that they were going to inherit the sets of The Expanse when The Expanse got canceled because they film at the same studio in Canada. And Amazon came along and decided, well, we're gonna just bring the show back. Well, that kind of stopped their plans from using those sets, because I'm not just talking about using the actual set space. They wanted the sets, the actual sets.
That doesn't work. The aesthetics of the
It
Expanse
doesn't.
It's not the same.
It isn't. But that was the thinking. That is how bankrupt they were behind the scenes as far as creating things and the money and it's a joke the way that Star Trek is being ran like right now. The people who are running it are not that good.
I mean, as wrong as the aesthetic of current Rec is, it looks like it looks more Star Trek than The Expanse. It's oh man,
yeah,
oh my, wow.
And in many ways, one could say, given what has been put out there, in many ways, The Expanse is, as I said, after the first season of The Expanse is what Enterprise should have been.
Yes.
Because I could see this as being building blocks to what we ultimately got with Star Trek.
Yeah, you can argue that The Expanse looks like more like a prequel to Enterprise.
Yes,
it's some point before the Earth was visited by the Vulcans. When
or you can make this something to where the Vulcans are still keeping a lot of technology from the humans.
Yeah, because we are pre-warp yet at that point.
Yeah, again, it's look. We could go on and on about The Expanse and how good it is, but really, if you're one of the few people out there that has still not seen the show, watch it.
Go watch it.
As soon as we're done with this show here, you need to go find The Expanse on Amazon and watch it, because oh my goodness. And if you're one of those people that actually thinks that the current K-Trek is any good, watch The Expanse. It's everything. And realize this. All of that K-Trek stuff came after The Expanse. So, yeah, it's no contest, not even close. I can't speak to the actors. I know that the actors on The Expanse are some of the best because the writers and producers treated their actors with some respect. They gave them real opportunities to act and to be natural. And there's a lot of stuff they put in that show that even goes beyond anything they've ever tried in any of the K-Trek shows. Okay? I just think that The Expanse is on a whole other level. And
Yes,
you
it
can't
is.
even come close with any of the current K-Trek stuff from Kurtzman. So anyway,
Yeah,
that's how
it's
I
time to
feel.
move on.
Yeah, I got to get down off this soapbox. So anyway, number 20, and it definitely should be further up. The Expanse definitely should be in the top 5. Number 19, Utopia. And I think this is another British show. In fact, they were working on an American version from David Fincher for HBO. Never heard of Utopia, so well. Again, this is 2020. Number 18, Orphan Black. Let me say something right now. I know there are a lot of people out there who did not like the Disney Plus show She-Hulk. And was just not a very good adaptation of that character. But Tatiana Maslany deserves every single award she has ever gotten for everything she's ever, well, really for this show, Orphan Black. She gave a master class in acting because, oh, wow, just.
Yeah, the premise of the show is there are a bunch of clones.
Well, yeah, a woman finds out she's a clone.
Yes, and all the clones are portrayed by her.
Yeah,
and
Tatiana
each clone has
different personalities, different quirks,
Yeah.
different. And so, but one actress gets to play all these different versions of herself. You know, it's like Michael Keaton in Multiplicity, but a little bit better, a little bit darker. The whole conspiratorial aspect of the show and the weird science, and it's really good stuff. I just think that I don't blame any of the actors from She-Hulk. Okay. But especially Tatiana Maslany, who, again, in my opinion, she should be acting in a lot more stuff. You know, she should be. I mean, I just think, in my opinion, She-Hulk is a little beneath her. That's all. That's all I can say. She-Hulk was just a little beneath her. That's it.
Well, the thing with Orphan Black, which I loved that show, loved not because, man, that was, I think, my Game of Thrones before Games of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
The same story. The last season was of Orphan Black. No, it didn't work for me.
Yeah.
The argument, the end, the quality of the script was awful.
Yeah.
And it almost broke my heart because I was so in love with the show.
It didn't stick the landing for you. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. That happens sometimes. You can spend a long time on a show and then you get to the final episode. It's like, that's it. You know, of course, some fans, you get to the final episode and the final episode's cool and everything, but sometimes it's a combination of that, but too short a time.
By the way, I have another divisive question.
Go ahead.
Which one was your favorite clone?
All of them. All of them are my favorite.
Very political of you.
No. Let me explain something. the way I always thought about it is, in many ways, I always thought of them as the same person that's just been divided in a way. I don't know why my mind would always do that, but also it's hard, you know, playing multiple people, and you've got to come up with all of the quirks and everything that it takes to create a character. And what Tatiana Maslany and the producers and writers of this show, the showrunner, really did with this show is they allowed her to create all these characters that, I'm sorry, it's amazing to see what she does.
Yes, it is.
And sometimes the technology they use to have multiple versions of herself in the same scene. What is amazing is just you can have these characters all on screen together, and you could have sworn it was being played. That you had different actresses in that scene, but it's really all the same actors just playing different parts. Masterclass in acting.
Okay, chat. If you saw the series, please put in the chat who was your favorite clone. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, we have dead air. We shouldn't. We must not have dead air.
That's all right.
Okay.
That's all right. You know what? This show isn't for everybody, but if you are someone that is interested in acting, yeah, Orphan Black, check it out.
Yes, it is. I'm not. I'm not agreeing at all. Well, no, not at all. I'm not in a full agreement with you. I think it's a show for everybody.
Anima, very, very, very good. A very good point, especially the scenes with only clones.
Yeah.
She had nobody to play off of but her imagination. Yes.
Yeah, Helena.
Her,
that's my number. That's my number 2.
I think her body, the woman that was her body double, or the women that were her body doubles, because those are the only other people they had. It wasn't just visual effects. I mean, they had to have a body double or multiple women play in those scenes so that Tatiana could do what she does. But still, it's masterclass. Anyway, that was 18. Number 17, The Handmaid's Tale. Elizabeth Moss, who again leads an incredible cast and an adaptation of Margaret Atwood's award-winning novel. Totalitarian novel, which in some ways might to certain people seem like just one long Twilight Zone episode. I've never really watched the show, but I know people that are big fans of it. I'm glad they enjoy it. I never saw anything in it that really, captured my imagination. I don't hate it, but I still think that there are certain storylines within this show that go a little bit beyond where I'm comfortable with. But then again, my comfort isn't really considered, nor should it be in presenting a story like this. But yeah. Anyway, a lot of people. Yeah, go ahead.
I have a contention point here with this entry, not the show per se, but the way that it is described in the list. It says the serene prescience of Margaret Atwood, 1985 novel. A dystopian nightmare in which the United States has become a totalitarian theocracy. Dude, if you're using the word prescience, you're implying that that is happening because the novel was written in 1985. And as far as I can see, that is not happening.
Yeah.
United States is not a theocracy, and you're not you do not function like in the novel slash series. So, oh my, if you continue reading the it gets worse.
Yeah.
It gets really really worse. Oh,
Again, it's
I'm not talking
2020.
about the show. I'm talking about what the writers of Rolling Stone has to say
Yeah.
about the show. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
It's 2020. So,
Jesus. That these people are sick, man. They are sick to the head. Okay.
it's a different kind of show, my man. Different kind of show. You know, there's not going to
Yeah.
be everybody. Look, there is absolutely no way that this list and all these shows are going to be something that everybody is going to really.
No. I'm not talking about the show. You as a dystopian story is perfectly valid. But man, the way that these writers of Rolling Stone are talking about their own country. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on. Oh, that's the next one is what a show that I haven't seen it, but given my the nature of my
Mm-hmm.
would be occupation, I'm interested because it's called Devs. And
Yes, number 16.
uh,
And
it's
I don't think the show lasted that long. But
being a programmer, it spikes my curiosity.
yes, it does. Um, this is look, it has a great cast, led off by Nick Offerman, fresh off of Parks and Rec. The premise is promising. It's definitely a science fiction show. Uh, again, Lost, really, but although well, okay, I'm not going to get into it, but uh, Devs is something. Look, that's a show that I've always kind of put off. I've been interested, but I've never really pulled the trigger on trying to sit down and watch it. I enjoy the cast, but obviously not enough to actually sit through an entire episode. So,
Given that neither of us has seen the show, we should move to number.
well, then we're going to go to
15.
number 15, The Outer
The
Limits.
Outer. Ah, man, that is a good show. Yeah, I know. It's just another anthology sci-fi show, but it was good.
Well, now here's the thing: The Outer Limits really was a science fiction show. Twilight Zone wasn't. It's an anthology show that is not afraid to use science fiction to tell its stories.
Yeah, it has science fiction, horror, fantasy. What's a mix?
Yeah. But The Outer Limits was a science fiction anthology show. It used again, it's an anthology show, but it was always science fiction. Every episode, it was meant to be that way. It's a show that this is meant to really be for the original series, the 1963 to 65 show. The show has been brought back twice, I think. Now it's been revived twice.
Yes.
But the original show, I remember when I was little. You know how Twilight Zone's opening credits are meant to be worrisome. Outer Limits opening credits was meant to, if you're under the age of like 10, it's meant to scare you a bit, So, and I remember being very afraid as a small child. So I could never really sit down and watch any episode of The Outer Limits. Twilight Zone was different, the subtlety with Twilight Zone, always got me. So anyway, The Outer Limits was good stuff. Well done. Definitely the creator of the show, Leslie Stevens, had a particular vision, and you had to know something about science fiction and be well versed in it to a certain extent to be able to sit down to write episodes of this show. It's something that not a lot of people are very good at doing now, because everything has to be a combination of things, mainly because the people in Hollywood have no real understanding of just pure fantasy or pure science fiction. Everything has to be a combination of different things to offset what they know, in combination with something they have absolutely no understanding or awareness of. So, and that's another soapbox moment from me. So we're going to move on to really a show that, in my personal opinion, definitely deserves to be anywhere within the top 10. Being outside the top 10 is a travesty. Legion.
Really?
Oh God. Legion, in my opinion, is probably the best adaptation of any major comic book company, as far as being a character that not many people was aware of prior to the show. And this just, the first season of this show, if we were to do a list of the first season of every major science fiction show, Legion would instantly leap to the top 5. The first season of this show outdoes a majority of first seasons for some of the biggest shows out there of all time. There is nothing like this show. And the reason why this show had to go is that Kevin Feige knew he couldn't accomplish anything like this. It's embarrassing what Kevin Feige couldn't manage to do, because this is a show that is, how do I put this? They obviously didn't have that kind of big MCU money. So what they had were very talented showrunners, writers, directors, actors who were willing to do whatever it took, and very creative, a very creative group of people who were as good with on-set, in-camera tricks as they were with post-production stuff. It's one of the things that the MCU has lost the ability to do, in my opinion. They can't seem to figure out how to make decisions that are not only just good visually, but also financially. And this show did stuff that far and away makes it, in my opinion, one of the top 5 best Marvel television series of all time, if not in the top 3. in its first season. And Kevin Feige had nothing to do with it. And that's not trying to be mean to Kevin Feige. It's just obvious. So I will go to my grave saying that the first season of Legion kicks butt to the point of being as good as any full television series.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I had no interest in that show until I heard your dissertation, so I think I'll watch it.
I wish, though, the production company, I wish Fox had followed through on something that the lead actor Dan Stevens had said, because it would have, I think, ultimately worked out better, not only for the show, but for the fans. Dan Stevens was on, I think it was the Tonight Show, and he was talking about how, because of the show that he's on, he was able to, he happened to run into Patrick Stewart. And if I remember correctly, he ran into Patrick Stewart. And turns out Patrick Stewart had seen the show. And had indicated that he'd be interested in somehow being a part of the show. Which, when I heard that story, really got me excited because of what the story is about. Again, this is a character that if you are not a real X-Men comic book fan, not somebody who just came in there because you liked a certain thing that you saw Hollywood do. I mean, if you know the X-Men because the comics had attracted you, okay, you know this character. You know who David is. This character is the ultimate X-Men. Full stop. Outside of Reed Richards' kids, this character is probably one of the most powerful and most terrifying characters in all of the Marvel universe. And this is one of the reasons why Kevin Feige, in my opinion, has shown that he may not be the comic book fan that he had always told people that he was. Because to me, this is your character who you should have built as a potential big bad, because he's both a hero and a villain at the same time. And it depends on when you catch him. But his power are outrageous. It's outrageous how powerful this character is. And the fact that he is the son of, I mean, they do talk about it here. I don't think I'm giving anything away, but this is Xavier's son. But he doesn't share his dad's power.
Wait, bye, Cam.
He's got something a little more intense. He is a one-man X team.
Okay.
Pick any pick any 5 characters, any of your favorite 5 X-Men characters, and put them up against this character. They're gonna lose.
Okay.
They're gonna be.
We really need to speed this up.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Legion definitely should be in the top 10, top 5. Really, if necessary, if we're going to talk about comic book shows. So anyway,
Number 13.
number 13, Black Mirror. It's
It
updated
shouldn't be on the
Twilight
list.
Zone.
It shouldn't be on the
I know.
list because that is it's not science fiction at this point. It's a documentary.
Good one. I like that.
That shit is getting too real, man.
It is. It is getting way too. It's getting uncomfortably real. But that happens. Number 12, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Look, I know it's not science fiction, but if we're doing the list for the shows that were influential in building modern geek culture, Buffy's in the top 5.
But not of this list. Not in a sci-fi list. And man, I love that show. My whole household loved that show.
Well, it turns out all of the showrunners and writers of K-Track love this show. And
Yeah,
are
but
not above.
they didn't learn anything.
No, they have learned nothing, but they are obvious fans. Once More with Feeling is really where they got the idea to do their all singing version of Strange New Worlds. Which, again, for Buffy, hey, that's unusual, but it makes sense within the context of how they did it.
Yes.
And the story behind why they decided to do an all musical episode makes way more sense than anything that anybody connected to the so-called brain trust behind Strange New Worlds can tell you as to the reason why they did theirs. So anyway, that's number 12.
Yes, I remember when we saw Once More with Feeling here in my house. I told my girls, okay, you haven't seen the rest of the show. I have. So we can stop here right now and go merry and happy for the rest of this thing. Or we can deep into the shit.
Let me at least say this. It was easy to tell who the real Buffy fans were. Because when this episode came out, for a year after this episode had come out, people were singing the songs.
Some are good, man.
Yeah, some people were really good. You had people putting on their own live productions of this. And it was, I knew people that were recording, off of the episode. They recorded the episode, and then we were recording the songs to play.
Dude, I have the CD.
I've got the sound. No, I'm not afraid to say I not only own the soundtrack to that episode, I own the script.
Oh,
yes, I went out and even got the script. It is. I'm not ashamed to say it. I love the episode. It is one of my all-time favorite episodes of Buffy. And I love the story behind, again, as I said, if you're a Buffy fan, you can find this on YouTube. The explanation is the reason why they did it. It actually is a strange little story as to why they did this episode. But it comes from the same place that they did the episode about the gentleman.
Yo, I love that episode, man.
Yeah, well, that's Buffy's version of the Weeping Angels for
Yes.
Doctor Who. The gentlemen, they are frightening,
Yes, they are.
That is a nightmare right there. Anyway, we got to complete the rest of the list. Number 11,
Yes.
Stranger Things. Again, as someone who grew up in the 80s, this is fine nostalgia. These kids are growing up way too fast. But it's great nostalgia for those of us that grew up in the 80s. To me, where it is on this list is just about perfect. I would put it here. Now, Is it science fiction? It kind of straddles the line a little.
Kind of.
I would rank it right up there though with a show like Fringe in a way.
Yes.
So if you enjoy this, you'll enjoy Fringe, which is I don't want to. I hate to put it like this. Stranger Things is scary at times, and it has a lot of intense stuff. But Fringe will get you. It'll get you. Anyway, that's number 11.
Number 10, and many people, I'm sure, is gonna say, "Woohoo!"
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
I'll say woohoo.
it's none other
Firefly.
than exactly.
Yeah. It is the coolest. It is the coolest
Space
group.
Western ever.
Yes, it is. It's a space western. It works. And it's got a great cast that have great chemistry. And again, this show, this should have been a show that should have at least gone 7 seasons. 7 seasons. Anyway, I love the show, and I love the movie. I wish they'd been allowed to make another movie at the very least. But
no, please don't. If they do another movie, they're gonna kill all the cast. Because Joss Whedon, he loves to kill his characters.
Yeah. He's not gonna get another shot at that. No. Anyway, number 9, the HBO Watchmen series.
Yeah.
Alan Moore, Dave Gibbons. Let me tell you something. David Lindelof, who was the guy, one of the people behind Lost. David Lindelof is one of the few people in the J.J. Abrams camp who I think is all right for the most part. Okay. This sequel to the Watchmen comic book started out really cool and just ended badly, in my opinion. It took a turn that I don't think it really needed to take. And it did something that still to this day makes absolutely no sense. Look, Regina King, Sister Night, that storyline worked for me. Okay, no problems with that. Having the whole thing about Ozymandias, updating that storyline, no problem with that. The problem that I think every person who is a fan of that comic book has is why the blankety blank blank blank. I mean, what is with that reason for Manhattan coming back? It makes no sense. And the only reason why you want to do that, ultimately, the real reason to bring that character back, I don't get it. It makes no sense. It's dumb, is what it is. You took 2 really cool stories and updating this. You came up with Sister Night, and you gave us an update on what's going on with Ozymandias. And I like that. That's great stuff. But the whole Dr. Manhattan thing ruins the show. It just ruined it. It's dumb. Really dumb. Let's see. The next one is excuse me, is Westworld. Again, it's to me, it's like it really is in certain respects like you took it's not, I don't think of it, well, it's a major retelling of the original story of Michael Crichton's book, but that visually, and especially in the first season, has a lot of inside references to the original first movie that was done in 1973.
With Joel Brenner.
Yes. And that incredible cast they had in 1973. It takes a lot of that and moves it, and again, that the first season of Westworld, fun stuff, great stuff, good television, definitely in my top 20 of all time. If we're just doing first seasons of major genre shows, Westworld's first season is up there. Okay, I'm not going to say near perfection, but it's close. It's right on that road. Season 2, personally, I know a lot of people that started to have some problems with it. I enjoyed season 2, especially when you had the twist. Okay, the twist in season 1 and the twist in season 2, to me, are just great. Now, season 3, that's when things began to get a little rocky for me. But it's a show, solid show. I would definitely have put Westworld closer to number, for this list, I would have placed in the top 20. Number
Before we
8,
continue, wait, before we continue, I would like to address Ariel Ballet. How are you? How are you feeling? Hope you're feeling better. And you have been missing our gaming shows for real. So, number 7.
The X-Files. And there's not a look, I don't have to say too much. Okay, the X-Files really is one of the top 3 definitive science fiction shows of the 90s. It just is. Okay. And as far as a show that has continued to have an effect on everything after, definitely as far as genre shows go, overall, in the entire history, it deserves a place in the top 10 of all time. So at number 7, I'm fine with it. Would I have taken it up a little bit? Maybe, depends on the day when you catch me. I love the entire series. I still think, and I tell people this all the time, check out the last 3 seasons of the show, not the 2 seasons that they did when they reunited everybody and they came back. What I mean is of the original run of the show. Check out the last 2 to 3 seasons.
Well, the last original season was with Robert Patrick instead of David Duchovny.
Yes. Check out those episodes. And the reason why I say that is because that was the beginning of high definition. Because of how they film those, all that stuff looks like it was done yesterday. You can't even tell that the show is as old as it is. And for those of us that lived through it the first time, I know it's a lot for me to say, but I sat down to watch it with somebody that had never seen it before. And you would have thought they had filmed those episodes last week, is how good it looks. Good stuff. Great writers, great showrunners, great cast. That is a show that definitely deserves place. To Chris Carter and his entire crew, great job. Great job on that one. Number 6, The Prisoner. Patrick McGowan's, in my opinion, Patrick McGowan's sequel to his Danger Man series. The Prisoner is just good, solid. There's a lot of shows that would not exist without this show. Definitely Lost would not exist without The Prisoner. And The Prisoner was a way better show. Great writing, great visuals, great show. It's definitely earned its place on the list. Number 5, The Mandalorian. At the time when this came out, this was definitely working its way to improving all of the mistakes made with Star Wars that Disney had made. Given what has happened since then, nah. Would I put it this high on the list? Maybe. But overall, for all time, heck no. Mandalorian, in my opinion, deserves to be about... okay, Mandalorian first and second season, top 10. Mandalorian, with everybody else putting their fingers in it after the second season, top 40.
I don't know if I even put The Mandalorian on the list because, as I already said, it's not science fiction. It's a good show, but it's not science fiction. In fact, the only
You're right.
thing Star Wars that I have ever seen that qualifies as science fiction would be Andor.
Yeah, I never saw that. I never sat down to
You
watch
should.
the whole of Andor. I should.
Oh,
say.
you should. You should. Believe
Yeah,
me,
I should.
you should.
I know I should. There are a lot of things I should do. But, let's see.
Oh,
Yeah, I know. I'm going to say it.
Shinatsky.
Okay. Number 4, Doctor Who. And as far as I'm concerned, it should be Doctor Who 1963 to 1988. You should divide it up.
88? Wow.
Yeah. Because the original run of the show is classic stuff. And as a whole, it is one of the most entertaining shows of all time. Now, since its return in 2005, that's where we kind of, the 4 doctors that you had starting in 2005, in my opinion, all 4 of those doctors are great. Okay. Jodie Whittaker, as an actress, I've always liked. Her showrunner, Chris Chibnall, is an idiot. He can't write. He cannot write. This guy is so bad, he makes Alex Kurtzman look like a freaking genius. Okay? What he did was criminal. And the fact that he wasted Jodie Whittaker. Oh, jeez. I know she likes the guy, and that's fine. I hated Chris Chibnall. His writing was just it's so bad, even substandard. Look, his writing was bad enough that the only people whose writing was worse was the people behind the Rings of Unfortunate Power. That's saying a lot. He makes current Trek look at least decent. It's how bad Chris Chibnall was. Anyway, number 3. Who do we have at number 3?
Oh yeah, Battlestar Galactica.
Now, let me explain something here. The original Battlestar Galactica, as I had said before, was one of those shows that came out of...
The one in the list is the new one.
Yeah, I know. The original Battlestar Galactica was born out of post Star Wars in 77. Okay. A lot of people liked that. I liked it. I watched it. It was great. To have Ronald D. Moore come in with David Icke and reinvent this entire thing. He gave a master class on how to reinvent something and not only make it popular, but make it more popular than the original version he was adapting. That's a trick because not a lot of people can do that. Okay. He did it. The cast, the entire thing was just amazing. Okay. The final episode got a lot of people confused. But you know what? I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the ride. I enjoyed the whole thing. And it was just well done. Masterclass there. I got a number 3 is perfect for this show. So, anything you want to add, Martin?
I don't know if we have enough time to all that I have to say about that. My history with the whole Battlestar universe. I've been following that since I was a little kid. And granted, I did not want to watch the 2004 and on. Then I was on board. I saw the pictures and I said, "Oh, that's where James Olmos. Oh, that fucking Viper looks awesome." Uh, uh, who's who's Katie Sackhoff? Who I knew her from Bigford, and that's it. When I saw that she was Starbucks, I said, no, and I didn't watch that thing for like
The miniseries, yeah.
10 years or more.
Oh, geez. But when you finally did,
Yeah.
How did it go?
I finally did. I was hooked instantly.
Gotcha.
I'm trying to convince my younger daughter to watch it because she has a big crush with the original Starbuck. So she's in that camera. I'm not watching it with with him. Oh my god! But it's cool. It's really good. But she's adamant. I have to break that will.
Tell your daughter that Dirk Benedict is one of the most fun people I have ever met. And
I will.
He will answer any question. That's my biggest takeaway from hanging out with him. He will answer any question. Any question. So, whoo.
No. Gap. It's not a show. It's the whole. I call it the universe. When I refer to the theatrical movie in the 70s and the show and the books and the toys and the new shows, and to me it's one just one big universe from my perspective. I'm sorry if I brought in confusion. Okay. Number two.
The Twilight Zone. Rod Serling. Twilight Zone. Classic. And I will tell you, according to TV Guide, I think this was their number 1 science fiction show of all time. The anthology series. Although, again, as I said before, not every thing was really science fiction. There was a lot of speculative stuff, and it was really a lot of allegory, something that a lot of today's writers really understand next to nothing about. Anybody that is, anybody that doesn't have any real ties or have been connected to this business writing since at least 90s, you understand allegory, but anybody that's been writing since after 2005, no. A lot of these newer writers, no. A lot of these guys would never have gotten onto the writing staff of the Twilight Zone. They never would have made it. And
oh my god! I realize I'm clutching my pearls here.
What?
You didn't like the Twilight Zone? Well, the run that they had in this list is the one from 59 to 64. I'm partial to the one from the 80s. I like it very much. I'm not saying that I don't like the original, okay? But I grew up with the one of the 80s.
Yeah, that's the one show run by J. Michael Straczynski, who would go on to create Babylon 5.
Oh.
But
yes,
quickly to go ahead.
No, I'm trying to with Shinotsky here. I agree. The new one was man, it wasn't good. Let's put it like that.
Oh yeah, the latest one that was hosted by actor,
Jordan Peele.
Oh yeah. There have been 4. There have been 3 revivals of the show since the original.
Yes, the previous was with Forrest Whitaker. I think
Forrest Whitaker, and then after that was Jordan Peele.
And finally,
number 1,
the coveted number 1,
Star Trek. Real Star Trek, not K-Trek. and not any of the sequels, just Star Trek, 1966 to 1969. And let me just say this: the reason why you can have Star Trek at number 1, I didn't even think that Star Trek would have been good even at number 2, to Twilight Zone being number 1. And the reason why I can say that is that many of the writers for Twilight Zone ended up becoming some of the writers for Star Trek. You had people that knew what they were doing. And again, as I've revealed, unlike a lot of other TV shows, a lot of the writers that were used for the Twilight Zone were writers who had experience in writing science fiction, speculative fiction, allegory. They knew how to do that. They weren't just TV writers. A lot of them had been published authors. So it was really smart of Gene Roddenberry to bring some of these writers onto Star Trek. And that's, in my opinion, part of the reason why Star Trek lasts. Because you had writers who knew what they were doing and whose resumes allowed them to attract a lot of fans who understood and loved science fiction. Not just Hollywood science fiction.
I'm with John with this comment, which is very
read the comment.
Nearly worded. It says, John says, I find the lack of Star Trek Deep Space Nine disturbing.
Look, I you know what? I kind of agree, but I also believe that. Well, here's my thing. I love Star Trek Deep Space Nine. I do. But if you could only have one Star Trek program, I know we have 2, but if you could only have one, the only one, in my opinion, is just Star Trek. That's it.
Well, we had 2. We had original
this
series
and
Next Generation.
The Next Generation. And the Next Generation, the reason why the Next Generation, I kind of give a pass to is that because Roddenberry also worked on that one. And because of some of the talented people that joined up for that version, made all the difference in the
Oh my, all alone here, and I have no idea where he was going with this comment. So, meanwhile, oh, oh no, no, I have nothing to do with it. Oh, let's say YouTube decided to shoot Keith off. Oh, oh no, no, no. I wouldn't say he hates DS9. I know for a fact that he likes it. Oh, okay. I want to wait for him to come back. If you agree with me, stay with me. Um, yeah, Peter Venkman France. I'm not too comfortable with that. Shinotsky, I hope that isn't true. But in the meantime, I would say that there's an anthology sci-fi show that I like very much. It just ran for one season, and I would gladly take out any show of this list that is not really a sci-fi show to include it. And it is called Welcome to Paradox. It's an anthology TV show in the near future dystopian, but all the stories that they are neither of them are connected. They all happen in the same city. No, Ariel, you wouldn't like to see me dancing. I have three left foot, so no. Yes, that is a very good show. Welcome to Paradox. If you can, find it and watch it. What's this anime? It had a third world country in. It has a team of monkeys in the garage for internet. Oh, one of them must have collapsed. So you're on a roll, Ariel. Uh, yes, apparently we're kithless. So, any suggestion from the chat? But oh, we have the wolf. Any suggestion from the chat? But oh, and we have Echo.
I got it. Sorry.
Oh, is
Yeah,
that fiber?
they went to lunch working on my fiber, so I popped back in when I saw you were Keithless, so I couldn't let you flounder alone.
Yes, Tracker with Adrian Paul. I haven't seen that one. Yes, jump for the rescue, Alan. Thank you very much, my friend.
Hey, hey.
Hey,
Oh,
Keith.
Keith is back.
Yeah, my internet just kind of gave up. Sorry about that, guys.
You were saying you were riling up against Deep Space Nine, according to the
Yeah, I was saying that Deep Space Nine is the best Star Trek show out of all of the sequels and spin-off shows ever. It is the second best Star Trek show. Period.
Oh man, there is so much fun of the speculation about what happened to your internet in the chat.
Yeah. Well, I jumped in to rescue Martine because he was doing fine, but he was by himself, so I felt bad.
Thank you, John. You rock.
Well, they went to lunch, so they're not taking stuff. They're not disconnecting me to plug stuff in, so I've got a few minutes yet.
Well, Bang Bang Scare, I won't do that because my Klingon is very rusty, and you only experience Shakespeare when you read it in its original Klingon.
Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The good that men do is often interred within their bones. Oh, I forgot how the rest of it goes. Now I feel bad. Okay.
Well, at least you use English. I have only read Shakespeare in Spanish, so.
When I was in high school, I did that whole soliloquy as dramatic interpretation. So I still remember parts of it. I just forgot where it goes after that.
Very good.
But the evil that they do oft within lives with that lives beyond something like that. So yeah, it's from Shakespeare's Julius Caesar. It's Mark Antony's speech to there's a Brutus. It's Brutus' speech. Anyway,
good speech.
After they've killed Caesar, so
it's a very good speech and very good job there.
So,
I think that's it. That's our list, or at least that's the list that Rolling Stone had.
Yeah. As I said, it was a BS list.
And not a BSG, just BS.
You know what? I think we were able to at least, have our opportunity to be able to explain how we would have done the entire list differently. But again, as I keep saying, that list was done back in 2022.
2020.
Sorry, 2020. And you can definitely tell that the writers for Rolling Stone were trying to, for whatever reason, couldn't think of a lot of things, didn't think there was that much. They just,
We should make our own list with hookers and blackjack.
Yeah, the Orville would definitely be on the list.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say that the Orville would definitely be on the list. Now, of all time science fiction shows, I don't know how far I would put it up the list, but it'd definitely be on the list. Personally, I think that's what Jon Favreau should do. I think he should just leave Lucasfilm and tell the mouse that he just wants to take over the Orville and do new episodes of that. That'd make Disney some money right away.
Okay. Ariel says that you can forget about the list and the blackjack. It's fine with just the hookers. Oh, man.
Well, got to give the hookers something else to do.
Yeah.
Ouch.
It's wintertime. I think most of them went to Vegas or Miami or something.
Wow, somebody did not like season 3 of the Orville.
Yeah, Shanatsky rarely likes something, so
I was a little disappointed, especially with how little they had for Norm Macdonald.
Well, he wasn't feeling that well. I mean, being as ill as he was, I'm glad for what we got. You know. I just think that at the very least, I think Disney should go ahead and do a 15-episode final wrap-up series season for the Orville and call it good.
Or maybe a movie.
Yeah, I like the 15 episode better.
Yeah, I would agree, but the movie is cheaper, so it would have more chances of being made.
Yeah, but while I would love to see a movie, that really would technically be like 2 episodes. I think the actors, especially the characters, deserve a longer goodbye, a way of saying goodbye to that entire universe. Because the way things stand right now, if Apple were to buy Disney, I cannot see Apple becoming concerned enough to want to do the Orville. I can't see Amazon becoming concerned enough to worry
Oh,
about
please
having
no.
the Orville. And if
Oh,
you
please
wait
no.
too long, I think a lot of the actors will become even more disillusioned, or at least unable to do anything. They're going to look so different. Uh, I think it's just, I think it works out better if you just have a. Personally, I would like to see. I'd like to go back to doing like 22 episodes, 24 episodes, seasons. I don't think that's ever really going to happen again. But if you can get 15 episodes out, I think that will more than make up for how fans felt about the Orville, at least this last season. Because with the episodes they did have, they didn't have enough, and they set up a lot of stuff in that third season. There's a lot of different things they set up in that season, and they didn't quite do anything to pay a lot of it off. Some of it they did, but not a lot of it. And so 15 episodes is a nice way of wrapping up the series and the universe and a lot of the loose story threads they left from season 3. That's just because you can't guarantee that you'll be able to get a hold of everybody to do another season after that. So you might as well just take advantage of everything and everybody while you have them. 15 episodes. What you keep all the actors working, you keep the crew going, and it's a nice way of just celebrating the whole of what the Orville is. And again, I don't think there's a really good chance to do 5 seasons. I don't think we're ever really going to get there, but I think we can get away with 4. And if you can just do 15 episodes, that'd be great. That's it. That's all I gotta say about that. So
Okay. So,
well, everybody, it's been a good show.
Yep.
I'm glad everybody has enjoyed themselves. They've had their say. Somebody check out Admiral T. Make sure he's still breathing. Hopefully,
at least the first spot was according to his liking. I'm sure of that.
I think overall, it's an all right list. It's not horrible. I mean, if that list had been done 2 years ago, from the way that these people were writing this, Rings of Power would have ended up somewhere on that list.
Yep.
So, and again, I'd like to tell everybody at Amazon, it may seem like, I'm acting when I say I really don't care about that show. Well, I'm not acting. So, I don't care about that. That show is just bad. You got to give it up to House of the Dragon. I mean, House of the Dragon, drink your milkshake, Amazon. I'm sorry, but it's a better show. So,
Well,
thank you, Ariel Billette.
and with that, I think it's time for us to say our farewells.
I think it is time to say our farewells.
Yes.
So,
And go ahead.
Until next week, I want to thank
everybody in chat, because, my internet capabilities are kind of limited. And definitely a big thank you to Martin and today's savior and Gold Star winner, John, for coming back and rescuing Martin, because, he's cool like that.
Yeah.
When he's not sticking daggers in.
Yeah.
So on behalf of...
But I'll save them for the next time.
Okay. So on behalf of everybody with the show, I'm Keith, and I want to thank you for giving us just a few hours of your morning. And remember, Vindicated Inc. Check it out. If you want to leave a message for Gary, go ahead and tell him that we sent you. I don't know if that'll have an effect on how much you end up paying, but, and for those that are willing to come see me in person, I will be co-hosting Geek Miss this weekend.
Nice.
Yeah, I know. A big old geek Christmas celebration. And again, let me just say, this is like the 6th year they've done this now. So getting to the point where they're inviting me to make sure everything runs smoothly. It's a deed and honor. It's a lot of fun. So if you happen to be out there, just come on down and meet me. Just Google Geek Miss. It's like Christmas, but put geek on it. And, anyway, everybody have a fantastic day. And we will see you. TGIF.
Bye.